Welcome to Card Player TV's Online Zone. I'm your host, Julio Rodriguez, and I'm joined on the phone today by Mike Sowers, who is having a pretty absurd week. How you doing, Mike?
Doing really good, actually.
I bet. So right now, everyone knows that you took second in the WCOOP High Roller event for, a cool $450K, I want to say?
Yeah, it was 448.
But what people don't know is that you also have a horse really deep. Right now, he's heads up at the EPT Barcelona. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. I've backed Carter Phillips for a while now. He's from Charlotte, and I've always just really respected his game. He's been a great player, and he kind of reminds me of whenever I was a younger player, just like really aggressive, really smart, just a very good player. And I had the chance after LAPC, I had enough money to where I could actually start backing him. And so I took the opportunity when I could, and me and one of my good friends, Dip Throwing, Mark Herm, both decided that it was a good deal and that we would go in half on backing him online. And so pretty much allowed him to play a bunch of satellites too, to the EPTs and stuff. And he's a really good satellite player, and he's been on kind of a downswing in the multis, but so it's pretty good for him that he ran bad for like 2 months online, and now he gets to make it all up in one score. So get to make it up and make a lot of money too. So.
Well, good for him, good for you, and good for Mark, certainly. Now, I want to talk about your year so far. I mean, you are a former WCOOP champion back in 2007. You have the second place this week. You mentioned the LAPC where you finished third for $650,000, and then back in February you finished second at an FTOPS event for another $220,000. So I mean, do you really feel like this is your breakout year?
I wouldn't say that, just because I feel like when I have a breakout year, I'm just gonna win them all. I mean, it's definitely the biggest year I might have ever as far as expectation. But, I mean, I want to win one of those big titles. Like when I won a WCOOP, that's exciting. That might even be more exciting than the money, just because you're the actual champion. And whenever you get second, the money is cool and all, but, I mean, you still want to win the tournament. And I feel like my close rate has kind of went down a little bit, especially in, like, the live tournaments and stuff. I just haven't been able to close out one. But I don't know, maybe I just need to work on that, like, once we get down to like 4 people, to play a little better or something. I'm not sure.
So would you rather have taken, like, let's say a win in the LAPC over all of these final table appearances?
For sure. Probably. But I like the consistency too. I mean, being consistent actually proves a little bit more than just winning one tournament. But I mean, as a poker player, you kind of do get greedy. You do want to win them all, but I mean, I enjoy final tables too, no matter where I finish. It's always a fun experience. So, I mean, I'll take whatever the poker gods give me. I'm just playing my cards and seeing what happens.
Now, I have to mention this. I'm not sure if you're aware, but right now you are the best overall player in 2009. You are 20th in the Card Player Live Player of the Year, and you're 45th in the Online Player of the Year. So I'm not too sure if you're aware of that.
Well, I would consider Phil Ivey probably having the best year, because he's final table in the main event, and he's the best player in the world. But as far as consistent results and stuff like that, yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I didn't even know
we're all about documents here, and
that's true.
We can't count any cash game statistics that Phil's putting up.
Yeah, that's true.
But I want to say that your 45th in the online race is quite deceiving, because you've actually made the second most money of anybody in our top 500 players.
That's pretty cool too, because I was looking online yesterday, and I've played like 500 tournaments this year online on each of the sites, which is obviously not that much, but I've just been very fortunate to run well and have the money to play the bigger buy-ins, and I just enjoy those so much more, and they're just so, I guess, exciting to me that I focus a lot more on those. So I would just rather play like one 10K online than, grind out 2-week session or something,
Well, let's talk about that 10K online. What was it, 297 players?
Yeah, 299.
299? That's right up there with some of the WPTs these days. I mean, what possesses somebody to put up 10K online for a one-day tournament but not want to, hit up the Bellagio or, even the bike for, what could be a 6-day tournament?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the convenience is a huge factor. I mean, whenever people can sit at home and play a tournament, I mean, we all love to play poker, and when we don't have to travel, especially me, I'm in North Carolina, and I'm kind of at home. We're having some family problems right now. Just my grandma's not doing so well, so I really didn't have the chance to get out to bike and some of the other live tournaments. So I feel like that the convenience factor is the biggest part. And it's amazing how much online has grown because, back when I first started to do well, like 2007, you would never imagine that the fields would be this big, that the buy-ins could be this big, and that, 300 people would play a $10,000 tournament. But I just think that goes to show that poker is still growing, especially online. Online is growing so much, and it's really cool because it's growing against the fact that the government is trying to limit the players' ability to play poker as far as getting money online and stuff. So I think that it shows just how much it's grown, even though people don't have access to the things they used to, say 3-4 years ago, where they could get a lot of money online very easily, where now it's a little bit tougher,
So considering the problems people are having depositing, do you think these 10K tournaments are still a good idea? Are they taking too much money out of the... a guy like you is going to continue playing and put some money back into the poker economy, but then you see some of these satellite winners come up, they take down $600,000, $700,000 for first, and then they kind of sit on their money. Do you think that's a bad thing?
I don't think so, just because, like I said, poker's growing online. So as long as it keeps growing, then you can do that. And I think that Stars has even, tried to change their payouts a little bit or whatever to counteract, all the satellite winners, just taking all the money and sitting on it. But I really think that poker has shown that it will keep growing online. So I really don't think that that's a big factor as far as money going away, because everybody loves to play, and especially people who win a lot of money, they usually want to play more. So I think the psychology behind that speaks for itself as far as most of the players just love to play, and the community keeps growing online. And Full Tilt and Poker Stars can run these series every 2 to 3 months and just have huge, prize pools. So I think that that's not a very big deal right now, and I really feel like it's just going to keep growing. And I feel like that online might even, phase out some of the live tournaments just because it is getting so big and so convenient.
Nothing like playing poker in your underwear, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. For some people.
For some people. At the final table, there was a deal proposed, three-handed. Are you kind of surprised Kevin Saul didn't take a little harder look at the numbers?
Not really. I mean, we were all so deep that a chop, isn't that great for a short stack. And I kind of knew that we probably weren't going to get a deal done. Kevin's a very good player, and I'm not sure that me or Sumpus had a big edge on him, or even a small edge. I think that all three of us were about equal in skill, so, I just didn't think that a chop was going to happen, and obviously it didn't. So I wasn't too surprised at that, and I wasn't, insulted at all. So.
How do you feel about your heads-up play?
The guy who I played heads up was really, really aggressive, and he just had a lot of good hands. But the kid played amazing, and he's a Swedish guy, which automatically, in most of our American minds, thinks that, the guy's kind of crazy, because most Northern Europeans play a pretty aggressive game. So, I don't know, I was a little disappointed in how I got it in, but I don't really regret anything. Most of the time when I make my plays, I'm usually pretty confident that they're the right plays, and if they don't work out, if I really feel it's a big mistake, I'll try to work on it. But I mean, earlier this year in the F-Tops, I played one of the best heads-up players in the world and lost. So, and this time, Sumpus is a really good player. So, I mean, I can't be too disappointed, especially because at one point, heads-up, he had like a 10-1 chip lead. So, I mean, that's just really hard to overcome. Like my first live win ever, I beat Durr heads-up because I had a 19-1 chip lead. Like, whenever you have that much of a chip lead, it's just hard for a player who's even way better than you, such as Durr is compared to me, to overcome that, you know? So I wasn't too disappointed, but, I mean, obviously I would have loved to have won.
Gotcha. Well, I'm glad you have no regrets, and I'm happy for the year you're having.
For sure. Hey, man, I appreciate all your compliments.
No problem, man. And, well, good luck with the rest of the way with Carter. You know, it should be finished by the time this video goes up, but I'd like to thank you for being on the show.
No problem, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
I'd like to thank you guys for watching here on Card Player TV.